Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, an incredibly detailed system from Japan for managing, well, basically life itself. It's a whole framework that treats your reality like a complex simulation that you can actually learn to master.
Okay, let's start right here, because this one question is the key to the entire system. What if you stopped seeing your life as something that just happens to you? What if you saw it as an intricate game? One with rules, with mechanics that you could learn to play strategically.
And that's precisely the idea. This framework positions you as the main character, the player, in a simulation of your own life. And the whole point is to learn the game's rules and its systems so you can navigate reality way more effectively.
Now, just like in any great game, everything starts with your character. Before you can master the world, you have to understand your own stats, your own abilities, what the framework calls your internal environment.
So, the system breaks your character down into three core attributes. You've got your body, which is like your hardware, your physical energy, your basic capabilities. Then there's your mind. That's your operating system, your consciousness, and how you process things. And finally, your skills, which are kind of like the software you install over time, all the abilities you learn and acquire.
But here's what's really interesting. The framework puts a huge emphasis on the mind. In this simulation, your mind isn't just another component. It is the central processor for the entire game. It's the main tool you use to interpret reality, to strategize, and to execute every single move you make.
And how does that processor actually work? Well, it runs on a pretty logical sequence of mental actions. It's a constant flow, right? You observe the world, you analyze what you're seeing, you evaluate what it means, you plan your response, and then you generate an action. That's the cognitive loop driving everything you do.
Okay, so that's your character. Now, what about the world you're playing in? Let's look at what the framework calls the external game map.
You know, the system doesn't see the world as just one big, chaotic mess. It's actually a series of expanding, nested layers. It starts super close to you, with your personal environment, your home, your stuff. Then it zooms out to your social environment, all your relationships. Then even further out to the big societal systems like work and the economy, all existing within the larger physical world.
And if we dive into that social layer for a second, you'll see that managing relationships is treated as a critical game mechanic. We're not just talking about your family and close friends here. It's your professional network, your colleagues, partners, community groups. Each one is a different part of the social game that needs its own approach.
And this is just a brilliant example of how powerful this mindset is. Think about something as mundane as your daily commute. With this framework, it's not a chore anymore. It's reframed as fieldwork or spatial exploration. You're out there gathering data, observing your environment, maybe testing a new route. Every little thing becomes a purposeful part of your game.
Okay, so we've got our character, we've got the world map. So how do you actually play? What's the user interface for this game of life? Well, the answer is what's called the core gameplay loop.
The gameplay is all built around this continuous 5-step cycle. First, you record data about your life. Then you analyze it for patterns and insights. Based on that, you strategize your next moves, and then you execute on that plan. And finally, and this is the crucial part, you optimize. You're constantly reviewing and improving the whole process. It's a cycle of perpetual improvement.
Let's just zoom in on that final step, optimization, or saitikeika in Japanese. The goal isn't just to do things. It's about continuous and sustainable improvement. The key word there is sustainable. It's about rationalizing your systems and steadily growing your skills. You aren't just playing the game. You're actively getting better at playing it.
And to manage this whole gameplay loop, the system is super practical. It's not dogmatic about what tools you should use. It totally acknowledges the strengths of both. Analog tools like a simple notebook are amazing for tangible, focused thinking. But digital tools like apps give you this incredibly powerful, searchable database. The trick is just to use the right tool for the job.
So then you take that 5-step loop and you apply it across all these different management systems in your life. We're talking about everything from day-to-day task management to bigger project management, all the way up to long-term goal management, and even planning your entire life and career. Every part of your life gets its own structured system, but they're all powered by that same core loop.
So this brings us to the biggest question of all, right? With all this structure, all this analysis, what's the point? What is the end game here? What's the ultimate objective of playing the game of life so deliberately?
And the answer is so much richer than just winning. The end game is actually this mix of different motivations. It's about creating personal value, sure, but it's also about self-growth, achieving mastery, and even, which I find fascinating, purposeful time killing. Finding truly meaningful ways to spend your time, instead of just letting it slip away.
And this quote just nails it. The ultimate goal is the development of your life's opportunities. That word, development, is everything. The end game isn't some static finish line you cross. It's the ongoing process of creating new possibilities, of opening up new quests for yourself.
So here's the crucial takeaway from all of this. This framework puts you in this incredible dual role. You're not just the player character stuck in some pre-designed game. You are also the developer. You have the power to analyze the game's systems, understand the rules, and then actually modify your approach to create a better experience for yourself. It's all about agency.
And we'll just end on this final thought. This whole framework is a really powerful tool, a lens to see a reality through. It gives you the structure, but you have to provide the purpose. So the question it really leaves you with is this: if your life is a game, what is your ultimate quest?